Manchester United has completed their second signing of the summer. That is it. They've completed the signing of a wonderful youngster, teenager, who is rated highly in English football. Welcome to the United Matters channel. How are you guys and where are you watching us from? Matheus Rashford ready to return for the preseason as Antony doesn't want to return. He's like, I'm doing everything possible to get out of this club known as Manchester United because for the years I've been here, it has been all hell. First season, he was really shining. Second season, very bad. And third season, worse, until he was loaned to Real Betis, where he went ahead to obviously act his age and his talents. And the world went ahead to appreciate him as he came in through. So, that is Antony for you. So, as it stands, we are here to let you know that it is very important. The first signing of Manchester United this summer transfer window was Matheus Cunha from the side of Wolverhampton Wanderers. £6.2 million. That's £62.5 million. That's what we pay to trigger the release clause of that player. And right now, another arrival has been really gotten at Manchester United. And he's really a strange name. But if you've been following us up onto this channel, you very much know that we really had discussed about this player. And who he is? Who he is? All right. Rick comes in through, no, it's Sal's Talks, has come in through and told us the following. That Harley, Emsden-James to Man United is a done deal. He's expected to join the under-18s with fee of £1 million being paid to Southampton as compensation. Premier League ratification process expected to go smoothly, seen as one of the best CBs for his age. Now, if you've been following up Man United for the rest of the time, I think they've gone ahead to invest hugely into what we call the young talent. You understand? And you saw it in the summer of last year. We went ahead to bring in Rosale. We went ahead to bring in Chido Obi Martin, right? And now there is another one that has gone ahead. There is another one that came in through during the January transfer window. It was Aiden Heaven, who walked straight into the first team of Manchester United. You understand? And now looks like we are really scouting for every good young player that is in England, and we are bringing him on. And I think one of the plans is to do what Man City is really doing. When you look at almost every team in the Premier League, they do have a player from Man City's academy. And Man City is really earning a lot of money. Look at the Romeo Lavias. Look at Liam Delap. Look at Carl Palmer. You understand? And even in other teams, Man City has players loaned there. And what they do is they loan most of these players in the championship teams. And when these championship teams obviously qualify or make it to the Premier League, Man City gets like £20 million. Like for Liam Delap, when Southampton qualified, there was a clause that if at all they qualify for the Premier League, they have to buy this player for £20 million. You understand? Now, Morgan Rogers, he was at Middlesbrough and Man City took him there. He's one of the hot cakes that are in the Premier League. When I'm to really talk about Man City and how they are doing in the academy, it's really great. And that's why Man City can favorably find themselves in a position of really buying for players in the January transfer window and getting in more for in the summer transfer window. In a space of 6 months, Man City have been able to sign 8 players, and it doesn't go unnoticed that they've gone ahead to make a lot of money from home-based players. So when you look at players at Man City, at United in our academy, I think that's the plan, as they not eat that stability at Manchester United won't click in as up. That is it. Stability won't click in as up. But what will kick in are these youngsters doing the needful, because by the Man United is really doing great into the academy. If you haven't gone ahead to know, they really do a lot into the academy, and they win at those levels. They've gone ahead to win a lot at those levels, and winning at those levels means a lot. So Manchester City has gone ahead to Man United is adapting that system, because they not eat that they are in a debt of close to £1 billion, and what can rescue United from such a debt is to have a very blossoming academy. If the academy is really working huge and producing talent, they're not going to the club but selling it everywhere, United will make a lot of money. For example, when you look at Alvaro Fernandez, or you call him Carreras, that is at Benfica, United has a sell-on clause of 20%, and they are going to sell him for 50 million euros. That's the release clause the guy has. United will get in like 10 million euros from the sale of that player. So that's what we are talking about. That you might be having you must be having players in your academy who are really doing great, like this James player's gonna have to come in through Hayden, and he doesn't make it to the first team, but he finds himself in a position of really going to a team, and United gets a sell-on fee of like £10 million, all 10 now, all 20. If United can do that of like 100 players, I tell you what, they can find themselves raising a lot of money, close to £1 billion, that can help this club get back to the levels we expect it to be. I think that's the plan, and this youngster is a centre back coming in through at Manchester United to play at our club. So we anticipate a lot from him. And Harley, Emsden-James, he's a player for Manchester United, and it's a done deal. So we are waiting for the club to obviously go ahead and really do the needful and make him, or make it official onto their pages, but it's a done deal. And he's 16 years of age. He was born on March 13th, 2009. He was at Southampton, and that's where Jason Wilcox was, at Southampton. And now he has gone ahead, obviously, bring him on at the club of Manchester United, and you're waiting to see how things will obviously pan out to give United positive results that we've always gone ahead to look out for. Now, other things might fail, but I think this shouldn't fail. Us getting this academy to where it's supposed to be shouldn't fail, because for the first team, there are lots of factors that are really hindering us. The money that we pay these players, the likes of Matheus Rashford, Sancho, Antony, that's why we're not. It's hard for us to move them on. If they were on really good wages that other clubs could afford, it would have gone ahead to be very easy for us to move on these players. But we are finding it hard to move these players on because of what they've gone ahead to really have in as a cost as their weekly wages. So the second signing is in for the club of Manchester United to the academy straight, but that doesn't mean that this player cannot break through to the first team. I know Konkuki, 16 years of age, the manager believes in him. When the manager Ruben Amorim came to his first training session, one of the players that intrigued him and caught his eye was Konkuchi, if you remember that very well. So even this youngster might obviously come in through and really impress to the fullest. You understand? And impressing to the fullest doesn't need a lot. It really just needs this player to meet everything that the manager is obviously calling in for. That is it. Nothing else is needed. So, welcome him to the club of Manchester United, and let's wait and see how he's obviously going to be featuring into those games. Now, Marcus Rashford is planning to return to training with Man United next month if a deal to leave the club has not been agreed. There has been interest from Barcelona, Inter Milan, Juventus, and Bayern Munich, as well as a number of Premier League clubs. So, as Ruben Amorim hasn't gone ahead to really get his list ready for those players that are not going to be into the preseason, Marcus Rashford is ready to come and is like, say what you want to say. I'm obviously going to be returning to what we call Manchester United to train with you. Whether you need me or not, you'll have to train with me. But training with Man United is really okay. And Marcus Rashford leaving is also possible because you can train with Manchester United. As I've already told you that the players train for 2 weeks, and then after those 2 weeks, those players are obviously given a very, very huge go to go ahead and really do the needful in there. So 2 weeks, you gain fitness, and then the preseason starts, especially playing those games into what we call the preseason. Marcus Rashford might be part of the team that will play into the preseason, but he will train with the club and they let him really leave when a proper side really shows interest to bring him through. Now, news is showing us that very many teams are really interested in him. Barcelona, we know why Barcelona is interested in the guy. They need a left forward, and they not eat that. They're really having problems with the guy known as Nico Williams in as far as registering him is concerned. So, Marcus Rashford is on the ladder of Barcelona. Then Inter Milan, they are also interested in Marcus Rashford because they believe he can obviously destroy teams in the Italian Serie A, of which he can, because just take an example or just mirror at what Scott McTominay did in Italy, and he was the MVP there. That means that Marcus Rashford, who is a forward, more fast, more clinical, who is more technically gifted than Scott McTominay, can do a better job there. That is it. That is it for Marcus Rashford. Juventus is another side that needs Marcus Rashford. Bayern Munich is another side that is going to have to put out a very, very, very huge list of 5, and they will need to get them in. Now, the list of 5 includes Marcus Rashford, Nico Williams, Gabriel Martinelli, Mitoma, and Rafael Leao. So those 5 clubs are hugely interested in signing the player in Marcus Rashford. But Marcus Rashford needs to do a lot to obviously find himself into good books with Ruben Amorim, if Ruben Amorim is to keep him here. Fifi Kagum, good morning, dear. Thanks for the updates always. Thank you for always watching in through, and you guys are really also keeping me going. So Marcus Rashford has to do a lot to really be in the good books with Amorim. But Amorim tried, and Marcus Rashford, by the squad, the first goal of the Ruben Amorim era. I think we are playing, was it Luton? Was it Luton? Which team were we playing? It was not Luton. Ipswich, I think. And we thought that he will obviously hit the ground running under this new manager, but all was in vain. So he never really hit the ground running. He just shrinked. So the manager is like, you have to get sold. And I think the board is delaying the manager a little bit, because if there is anything that United has to do is to start selling these players. But I think their plan is to start selling these players in July. But even though it was the case, I think movement would have been, the movement would have already gone ahead to start. For example, You see the side of Arsenal and Zubimendi, everything is done and dusted. The deal is going to be announced in. The deal is going to be announced in. The deal is going to be announced in July, but it's done and dusted. And there are very many other teams that are really doing that. So I think we should start working on the exits and see to it that they really leave, because rumors are really huge. Onana leaving is not leaving. Rashford is leaving, is not leaving. Antony is leaving, is not leaving. Sancho the same. Garnacho the same. Rasmus Højlund the same. Joshua Zirkzee the same. You understand? Kobe Mainoo. So I think it's high time the club of Manchester United went ahead to really make it clear, that you players, you're no longer needed here and you need to obviously leave. So we wait and see how things will pan out. But towards the end of this month or beginning of July, players will return and will be told who stays and who is not staying. Let's go to Antony. Antony is not working like Marcus Rashford and Sancho. He is prepared to take a 30% wage cut to leave Manchester United in the summer. United require a fee of £32.5 million to avoid a loss on under the Premier League profit sustainability rules. Antony earns around 150k a week with Man United. So others say 150, others say 200. So whatever it is, I think he has shown a spirit of wanting to go ahead and really play football. He is not like Marcus Rashford, Sancho, who don't want to take a pay cut, the Casemiros of this world. He's like, for me, I'm still young, I believe I can do better, and I'm willing to take a pay cut to go ahead and really play for Rio Betis, because he knows to it that at Rio Betis, he felt like the prime Antony, you understand, and he knows to it that the club now loves him. He enjoyed the atmosphere in Spain, and he's like, allow me get back to Spain. Allow me get back to Spain and try out my first full season there, because in what he had as a cameo of a season, Antony went ahead to really look good at Rio Betis, and that's why he's willing to take a pay cut, because he knows to it that when he goes there, he'll obviously look good, and when he looks good for a whole season, teams like Barcelona, Madrid will obviously come for him, because they know that he's obviously gonna get into the tie. Now, when you look at La Liga, he played 17 games, 5 goals and 2 assists. That is for Rio Betis. And he also had to score some goals into what we call the UEFA Conference League. That is it. That is Antony for you. And he really looked good. When you look at the La Liga table of last season, Rio Betis finished 6th. They finished 6th with 60 points, and they're going to be playing the UEFA Europa League. And there is no difference, because ever since he came to Manchester United, he has just played in only one Champions League campaign, and I think 2 campaigns of the UEFA Europa League. So he's like, let me take a pay cut and let me obviously get out of the way and see to it that all goes on well as planned. So we are waiting to see how that will pan out, but he has said he's taking a pay cut, and that is really important. And I've liked Antony that he still loves to play football. Then Fifi says, but bro already, there are deals which are necessary, but it's becoming meaningless and losing direction, like that one of Bryan Mbeumo. Yeah, I think the board knows what they're doing. The player has agreed to come to Manchester United, but they have to obviously have their plan. But all I know is that he's going to be coming in through. And all I want to see is Bryan Mbeumo training with Manchester United in the preseason, playing all the games with Manchester United, and see how he fits into the club. Him and Cunha are really going to be important signings for the club of Manchester United, provided they are in that match when you're playing against Arsenal at the Emirates. Sorry, at Old Trafford. The opening game is going to be very good and crucial for our manager known as Ruben Amorim. So guys, thank you very much for watching through. Rokan David is my name. I sign out for now. See you later. I just can't wait to see your reactions on what we've gone ahead to talk about. Man City is playing against Ain from Dubai, and they've just gone ahead to score the first goal through Ika Gundogan. Beautiful goal, and City are really cruising and cruising and cruising. I'm out. Bye-bye. And my friend, my partner in crime, Fifi Kaguma, thank you for being part of this live. We out. Bye-bye.